Let's dive into the basics of ethical selling because it's an essential part of building trust and long-term relationships with your customers. First off, what does ethical selling even mean? Well, it's all about being honest, transparent, and respectful in how you present products or services to potential buyers. You want to ensure that you're not just making a quick sale, but also delivering real value. Now let's break this down into some key components. The first thing is understanding your product inside out. Knowing its features, benefits, limitations, and any other relevant details will help you speak confidently about it. It's important to be knowledgeable so you can accurately represent what the product does and doesn't do for your customers. Next up, empathy plays a huge role here. Put yourself in the customer's shoes and think about their needs and preferences. This helps tailor your pitch to match what they're looking for instead of trying to force something that might not fit. By showing genuine interest in solving their problems or enhancing their lives, you establish a connection based on trust rather than just making money. Then there's transparency. Be upfront about the costs, terms, and conditions involved with purchasing your product. Don't hide anything important from customers because it can lead to disappointment later when they realize something wasn't disclosed properly. Full disclosure builds credibility and honesty in your dealings. Another crucial aspect is listening carefully. Often people know exactly what they want, but might need guidance to articulate that clearly. By actively listening, you get a better sense of their needs and desires, which helps tailor your recommendations more effectively. This also shows respect for the customer's time and opinions. Lastly, follow through on your promises. If you say something will happen by a certain date or offer a particular service, make sure it gets done right away. Reliability is key in maintaining trust and establishing long-term relationships with clients. So there you have it. Ethical selling isn't about tricking people into buying things they don't need. Instead, it's about building genuine connections through honesty, empathy, and clear communication. By focusing on these principles, you create a positive reputation that lasts much longer than any single sale could ever provide. Let's dive right into why trust and integrity are so crucial in B2B sales. Think about it this way. When you're buying something for your business, do you want to deal with someone who's honest or someone who might exaggerate the benefits of their product? The answer is obvious. Honesty builds strong relationships. First off, let's talk about trust. Trust is like a bond between two people. It grows when both parties are reliable and consistent in how they behave and communicate. In B2B sales, trust happens early on through initial interactions where you demonstrate reliability and credibility. For instance, if you're upfront about the product features, pricing, and any limitations, even if it means losing a sale temporarily, your reputation for honesty will shine. Moving on to integrity, that's all about doing what's right, not just what's easy or profitable in the short term. It means being honest about your product's capabilities and standing behind them with solid guarantees and support. Integrity also involves respecting confidentiality and delivering on promises made to clients. Now, imagine you're pitching a high-ticket item to a potential client. They want to know that they can trust you and feel confident about their decision. If you've built up a reputation for integrity over time, it makes them more likely to choose your product or service. To wrap this all up neatly, trust and integrity form the backbone of successful B2B sales relationships. When buyers see that you're transparent and reliable, they're more inclined to partner with you long-term. Today, we're diving into why transparency is key to building credibility in any professional setting. Imagine this. You're walking down the street and see two lemonade stands. One has a sign that says freshly squeezed every hour, but it's hidden behind a bunch of posters and banners. The other stand displays everything openly from how they make the lemonade to what ingredients they use, even listing all their suppliers. Which one would you trust more? That's the power of transparency. Now let's break down why transparency is so important. First off, when you're transparent, you give your audience or stakeholders a clear view into your processes and decision-making. This openness breeds trust because it shows that you have nothing to hide and are willing to be accountable for your actions. Take, for example, companies like Patagonia or REI. They openly share information about their sustainability efforts and supply chains, which makes consumers feel good about buying from them. Another benefit of transparency is that it helps manage expectations. When people know what's going on behind the scenes, they're less likely to be surprised by sudden changes or setbacks. This can prevent misunderstandings and keep your relationships strong even during challenging times. It's like when a project manager shares detailed progress updates with their team regularly. Everyone knows where things stand and are prepared for any adjustments that need to happen. Transparency also fosters collaboration. When you openly share information, you invite feedback and ideas from others, which can lead to better decision-making. Think of it as opening up the conversation instead of keeping everything within a small circle. This collaborative approach helps build a community around your goals or projects, making everyone feel invested in the outcome. Lastly, transparency builds credibility by demonstrating that you're reliable and honest. When people see consistent truthfulness over time, they are more likely to trust what you say or do. It's like how politicians try to be transparent about their policies and platforms. It helps them appear trustworthy to voters. So how can you become more transparent in your own work? Start by sharing information openly with all relevant parties involved, whether that's through regular updates, detailed reports, or just being available for questions. Also, don't shy away from the tough stuff. Acknowledging challenges and setbacks shows integrity and helps build trust even more. In conclusion, transparency is a powerful tool for building credibility because it fosters trust, manages expectations, encourages collaboration, and demonstrates honesty. By embracing transparency in your professional life, you create an environment where people feel confident about supporting your efforts or working with you. Okay, let's dive into the world of establishing clear communication channels with clients. Imagine you're building a bridge between yourself and your client. This is essentially what setting up effective communication does. The first step is to understand that every client has unique needs and preferences when it comes to how they like to communicate. Start by getting to know your client's preferred methods, whether it's email, phone calls, text messages, or even video chats. For instance, a high-ticket client might prefer face-to-face meetings or frequent check-ins via Zoom, whereas a more casual client might be happy with regular emails and the occasional call. Once you've identified their preferences, make sure to set expectations clearly from the beginning. Let them know how often you'll be in touch and what kind of updates they can expect to receive. For example, if you're working on a project that takes several weeks, you might decide to send weekly progress reports or schedule monthly review meetings. It's also important to maintain consistency in your communication style. If you promised daily check-ins via Slack messages, stick to that unless there's a good reason to change it up. Consistency helps build trust and reliability with your clients. Now, don't forget about feedback loops. These are crucial for keeping the lines of communication open both ways. Regularly ask your client if they're satisfied or if anything needs adjustment. This could be as simple as sending out periodic surveys or having brief check-ins where you specifically discuss how things are going and any improvements that might help. Lastly, always keep your end goal in mind. Clear communication is all about ensuring that both parties understand each other completely. If there's ever confusion, don't hesitate to clarify. Remember, it's better to ask questions now than to face misunderstandings later on down the line. So there you have it, folks. By understanding your client's preferences, setting expectations, maintaining consistency, and incorporating feedback loops into your communication strategy, you'll be well on your way to establishing clear channels with your clients. Let's dive right into how to handle client objections responsibly. When you're selling something high-ticket, or even just trying to close a deal on something more modest, managing those pesky objections can make all the difference between success and failure. Now, here's what we're going to cover today. First, identifying common types of objections. Second, understanding their underlying causes. Third, developing strategies for addressing them effectively. And finally, turning those objections around into positive outcomes. Let's start with identifying some typical client objections you might encounter. These could range from price concerns to questions about the product's quality or suitability. For instance, a customer may say something like, "I'm not sure this fits my needs," or "the cost seems too high." The key here is listening closely and understanding what's really behind those words. Now that we've identified some common objections, let's talk about why clients bring them up. Often, these aren't just simple complaints but rather signals pointing to deeper concerns. For example, if a client mentions price, they might be worried about the value or unsure how it fits into their budget. When you understand this nitty-gritty, you're better equipped to address those underlying issues. So, how do we tackle these objections effectively? One approach is to acknowledge them and empathize with the customer's position. For instance, you could say something like, "I can see why you might think that, but let me explain a bit more about the benefits of this product." Then, provide clear evidence or testimonials to support your claims. It's also helpful to offer alternatives or special deals if possible. Lastly, turning those objections into positives is crucial for closing sales successfully. You could do this by reframing the objection and focusing on how it can be overcome. For example, instead of dwelling on price concerns, highlight any cost-saving features or long-term benefits that justify the investment. This way, you're not just addressing the issue but also adding value to your client's decision-making process. In conclusion, handling objections responsibly requires active listening, empathy, and strategic problem-solving. By understanding what drives those objections, providing clear explanations backed by evidence, offering alternatives where needed, and reframing negatives into positives, you can effectively manage any obstacles that come your way and secure successful outcomes for both you and your clients. Let's dive right into this topic about addressing competitors fairly and respectfully. Now, when we talk about competition in business, it can sometimes get intense, but treating your rivals with respect is key to maintaining professionalism and building trust within the industry. First off, let's start by acknowledging that everyone has strengths and weaknesses, including you and your competitors. So, instead of focusing solely on what they're doing wrong or better than you are doing, try to understand their unique selling points too. This kind of mutual respect can foster a healthier, competitive environment where everyone grows together. Next up, when engaging with competitors directly or indirectly through social media platforms and customer reviews, always aim for honesty and transparency. Don't make false claims about their products or services just to boost your own reputation. Be honest in what you say and stick to the facts without exaggerating any negatives. Another important point is avoiding personal attacks or negative comments about your competitors' staff or leadership. Even if you disagree with a business decision they've made, keep it professional and address the issue at hand rather than bringing personalities into play. This helps maintain credibility for both parties involved. Lastly, remember to promote healthy competition by sharing positive feedback about others when appropriate. If another company helped you out in some way or produced something great that benefited your customers too, give them a shout-out. This kind of recognition can go a long way towards building goodwill and fostering mutually beneficial relationships within the industry. So there, you have it. Addressing competitors fairly and respectfully comes down to maintaining professionalism, being honest, avoiding personal attacks, and promoting healthy competition through positive feedback. By following these guidelines, you'll not only set yourself apart as a fair player, but also contribute to creating a more supportive environment for all businesses involved. That's the end of our lesson on this topic. Let's dive right into understanding how empathetic listening can transform your sales game in B2B settings. Empathetic listening isn't just about hearing what someone says. It's about truly understanding their perspective and emotions behind the words. It involves being fully present, actively engaging with the speaker and validating their feelings. So why is this important for a B2B salesperson? Well, when you listen empathetically, you build stronger relationships faster because your clients feel understood and valued. This trust translates into better business outcomes for both parties involved. To start practicing empathetic listening, begin by giving your undivided attention to the speaker. Put away distractions like phones or laptops and focus on what they are saying. Next, show genuine interest through body language. Nodding, maintaining eye contact, and leaning in slightly all convey that you are fully engaged with their words. When you notice a pause in conversation, use open-ended questions to encourage them to elaborate further. Questions like, "Can you tell me more about how this impacts your business?" Or "How do these challenges affect you day to day?" Another key aspect of empathetic listening is paraphrasing and summarizing what the client has said. This helps clarify their thoughts while also showing that you've been actively listening throughout the conversation. For instance, you might say something like, "So if I understand correctly, your main concern right now is about ensuring compliance across all departments." Lastly, don't forget to validate emotions. Acknowledging feelings such as frustration or excitement shows empathy and helps build rapport. A simple statement like, "It sounds like you're really passionate about this project," can make a big difference in how clients perceive the interaction. By implementing these empathetic listening skills, B2B salespeople can create deeper connections with their clients and ultimately close more deals. Remember, it's not just about selling your product. It's about understanding your clients' needs and making them feel heard. Let's dive into the topic of aligning your products or services with genuine customer requirements. Understanding this concept can make all the difference between hitting it out of the park and barely scraping by. First off, let's talk about why this is important. When you tailor your offerings to fit what customers really want and need, you're not just selling a product anymore. You're solving a problem or fulfilling a desire they have. It's like when I go to the coffee shop craving that perfect latte. If they can deliver it exactly how I like it, I'm sold. Now, let's get into some practical ways to align your offerings with customer requirements. Start by really getting to know your customers. Who are they? What do they need? How do they live their lives day to day? Conduct surveys, talk to them directly if you can, and even shadow a few of them in action. Next up, listen closely to feedback, whether it's praise or complaints. Both sides give you valuable insights into what works well and where there's room for improvement. And don't forget about the nitty-gritty details. Sometimes those small things make all the difference. Once you have this information, start mapping out your product features against these requirements. Are you hitting all the key points? If not, how can you adjust or add to your offerings to meet that sweet spot of customer satisfaction? It's also important to stay flexible and responsive. Customer needs evolve over time, so it's crucial to regularly check in with them and see if anything has changed. Lastly, make sure to communicate clearly why these changes are happening and what benefits they bring to the customers. Transparency builds trust and shows that you're listening and responding to their feedback. To wrap up, aligning your products or services with genuine customer requirements is all about understanding their needs deeply, adapting accordingly, and then communicating effectively about those changes. When done right, it not only boosts satisfaction but also loyalty, which can lead to long-term success for your business. That's it for now. Today, we're diving into how to balance short-term gains and long-term relationships. It's a tricky tightrope walk, but one that can make all the difference in your personal and professional life. Let's start with understanding why this balance is important. Short-term gains are like quick wins. They give you immediate satisfaction or results, which can boost your confidence and momentum right away. But let's not forget about long-term relationships. These are the cornerstone of building trust, loyalty, and sustainable success. They require nurturing over time, but their impact lasts much longer than any fleeting victory. To achieve this balance, start by identifying your goals. Are you looking for quick wins or laying groundwork for the future? Once you know what direction you're heading in, assess how each decision aligns with both short-term and long-term objectives. For example, if you're selling a high-ticket item, closing the deal quickly might seem tempting, but building relationships first could lead to repeat customers down the line. It's all about weighing immediate needs against future benefits. Another key is communication. Be upfront about your intentions and make sure everyone involved understands where you're coming from and what you aim to achieve. Transparency fosters trust and helps manage expectations on both sides. Also, remember that every action has consequences. A short-term gain could potentially harm a long-term relationship if not handled carefully. Lastly, consistency is crucial. Regular check-ins and follow-ups are essential for maintaining those long-term relationships while still achieving your immediate goals. It's the little things that count here. Showing appreciation, offering support, and being dependable can go a long way in ensuring both short-term success and sustained growth. In conclusion, balancing short-term gains with long-term relationships requires careful planning and thoughtful execution. By aligning your actions with clear objectives, communicating openly, and staying consistent, you can achieve immediate results without sacrificing future potential. Let's dive into understanding fair pricing strategies that reflect value for both parties involved in any transaction. Pricing isn't just about setting a price point. It's really about finding that sweet spot where everyone feels they're getting something worthwhile from the deal. First things first, think about what your product or service actually brings to the table. What are its unique features? Does it solve a problem for customers? Once you've identified these value points, consider how much a customer might be willing to pay based on their needs and budget. This isn't just guesswork, it's about understanding your market. Now, let's talk about cost plus pricing. It's a straightforward method where you calculate all the costs involved in producing or delivering your product or service, then add a markup that covers profit margins and operational expenses. But remember, this approach doesn't automatically ensure fair pricing unless customers see clear value for their money. Another strategy is market-based pricing, which involves setting prices according to what competitors are charging for similar products or services. This can be helpful, but requires you to know your competition well enough to differentiate yourself based on quality or unique features. Value-based pricing takes it a step further by focusing on the perceived value of your offering from the customer's perspective. If you're providing high-quality, innovative solutions that significantly improve their lives or businesses, they might be willing to pay more for these benefits. Lastly, dynamic pricing adjusts prices according to supply and demand fluctuations. This is common in industries like travel or retail, where prices change based on seasonal trends or limited availability of products. Now, here's the nitty-gritty. To ensure fair pricing that reflects value for both you and your customers, it's crucial to communicate clearly about what sets your product or service apart. Transparency builds trust and shows potential buyers why they should invest in what you're offering. In summary, understanding your market, knowing your costs, identifying unique selling points, and effectively communicating the benefits of what you offer are key steps towards setting fair prices that work for everyone involved. Today, we're diving into an essential topic for B2B sales professionals: understanding relevant laws and regulations affecting your business transactions. It's crucial to know these rules inside out because they can make or break your deals. Let's start with antitrust laws, which ensure fair competition among businesses, prohibiting monopolies and anti-competitive practices. Then, there are data protection laws like GDPR in Europe or CCPA in California that you must follow when handling customer information. It's important to note these aren't just about protecting personal data, but also ensuring transparency and consent when collecting business-related information too. Next up is contract law, which governs the formation, performance, and enforcement of agreements between parties. Make sure your contracts are clear, comprehensive, and comply with relevant statutes. Intellectual property rights like patents, trademarks, and copyrights play a significant role in protecting proprietary business assets used in sales processes. Understanding these laws helps you avoid infringement issues that can arise when dealing with innovative products or branding. Don't forget about import-export regulations, which vary widely depending on where your B2B transactions take place. These rules cover everything from tariffs to customs duties. Ensuring compliance is key for smooth cross-border dealings. And let's not overlook consumer protection laws, which safeguard buyers from unfair business practices such as false advertising or misleading product descriptions. As we wrap up this session, remember that staying informed about these laws and regulations isn't a one-time task, but an ongoing effort to navigate the evolving legal landscape successfully. By keeping yourself updated on any changes in legislation relevant to your B2B sales activities, you'll be better equipped to avoid costly legal issues and secure more deals with confidence. That's it for today's lesson. Today, we're diving into the world of ethical selling practices, something that's crucial for maintaining trust and building strong relationships with our customers. Let's start by understanding why adhering to these policies is so important. Ethical selling means being honest about what you're offering, respecting your customers' needs, and avoiding any deceptive marketing tactics. It's not just the right thing to do, it also boosts our reputation and helps us grow. Now, let's talk about some key aspects of ethical selling within our company policies. First up is transparency. We should always provide clear information about our products or services, including pricing details and any terms and conditions. This means no hidden fees or surprises for the customer down the line. It's all about being upfront and honest. Another important point is respecting your client's time and preferences. If they tell you they're not interested in a high-ticket item right now, don't push it. Listen to their needs and focus on providing value where appropriate. This builds trust over time because customers appreciate when we respect their decisions. Customer service plays a big role too. We need to be responsive and helpful, answering any questions or concerns the customer might have. Remember, our goal isn't just to make a sale. It's about creating satisfied customers who will return for future purchases and recommend us to others. Lastly, let's not forget about compliance with legal requirements. This includes adhering to industry regulations and ensuring that all sales practices are in line with local laws and standards. By staying compliant, we protect ourselves from potential legal issues while also maintaining our ethical standing. In conclusion, ethical selling is all about integrity, respect, and transparency. When we follow these principles, not only do we build strong customer relationships, but also foster a positive reputation for our company. So let's keep this in mind as we continue to serve our clients with the highest standards of professionalism and ethics. Maintaining trust over time is crucial for any relationship, whether it's personal or professional. Think about your closest friends or colleagues, those you can always count on no matter what. Trust isn't built overnight. It requires consistent effort and commitment. So let's dive into some strategies that will help you maintain trust in the long run. First up, transparency. Be open and honest with others about your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Don't hide things or sugarcoat information just to make yourself look good. When people know where they stand with you, it builds a solid foundation of trust. Next, consistency is key. People trust those who are reliable and dependable. If you say you'll do something, follow through on your promise. It might sound simple, but consistent action over time is what really strengthens trust. Then there's accountability. When you make a mistake, own up to it. Don't try to shift the blame or downplay your part in any issue. By taking responsibility for your actions, you show others that they can count on you to be reliable and trustworthy. Another important aspect is empathy. Try to understand other people's perspectives and feelings. This doesn't mean agreeing with them all the time, but it does mean acknowledging their point of view. When people feel understood, trust grows stronger. Lastly, communication is vital. Keep lines of dialogue open and active. Check in regularly, share updates, and ask for feedback. Effective communication builds relationships by ensuring everyone is on the same page. So there you have it. Transparency, consistency, accountability, empathy, and communication are the cornerstones of maintaining trust over time. By focusing on these strategies, you'll be well on your way to fostering lasting, trustworthy relationships in both your personal and professional life. Today, we're diving into an essential part of delivering excellent service, leveraging feedback for continuous improvement. Picture this: every time you receive feedback, whether it's from a customer, colleague, or supervisor, think of it as a golden opportunity to refine your approach and enhance the quality of services you offer. Let's start by understanding why feedback is crucial. It serves as a mirror reflecting areas where we're excelling and spots where there's room for improvement. Imagine you're baking a cake, and someone gives you tips on how to make it even better. That's exactly what feedback does for your service delivery. So the first step is to actively seek out feedback. Don't wait for it to come knocking. Go get it. Use surveys, direct conversations, or social media platforms where customers can voice their thoughts easily. The key here is to listen attentively and sincerely, showing that you value their input. Next, once you've gathered this feedback, take time to analyze it thoroughly. Look for common themes. Maybe there's a recurring issue that needs addressing, or perhaps a specific strength that stands out. This analysis helps prioritize your improvements based on what matters most to your customers. Now comes the implementation phase. Develop action plans based on your findings and start making those changes. For example, if feedback highlights slow response times, consider implementing tools or processes that speed up customer service interactions. Each step taken is a step closer to delivering better service. But wait, we're not done yet. Continuous improvement isn't just about doing things once, it's an ongoing process. Regularly review how these changes are impacting your service delivery and gather more feedback. It might even reveal new areas for improvement that you hadn't considered before. In conclusion, embracing feedback is vital for enhancing the quality of services we deliver. By actively seeking out customer opinions, analyzing them thoroughly, making necessary adjustments, and continuously reviewing progress, you can significantly boost satisfaction levels and ensure your service stands out in a competitive market. So remember, every piece of feedback, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, holds potential to make your service delivery even better.